forwards and get it out, then I'm sideways this way, and then I'm sideways that way. And my wife and my mate, they thought I was in there just mucking about. And I was like, I was just going, hey, why don't you come and get me out? I thought you were having fun.
Oh, you thought we were mucking around.
Yeah,
You look like
no,
you just been still.
Thanks a lot, Gordon.
Yeah, right.
Funny thing is,
Well, it certainly is very foggy here this morning, as you can't really see.
This kayak is very tippy. I'm having a little bit of trouble keeping its balance, but it is fast, so we should get there a bit quicker than the old blow up. So I've just left Copmanhurst, and it was a beautiful morning there, very foggy. And now I'm just about 2 k's down the waterway. Still nice and foggy, and I hope this fog stays in as long as it can, because I forgot my sunglasses. It's going to make it really glary later on, because it's a 38 day today. So, at least I didn't forget my hat. It's beautiful with the mist just coming off the water. It's amazing.
So yeah, these are the two brothers. 18, no, we're young. What do you reckon? It's getting hard to say.
1860?
I thought they were 10 years apart, but maybe not. So he was only 21, 9th of October, 1860. And the other one is a bit clearer. Robert Buchan, and met with his death while crossing the First Falls, and David Stephen Buchan, who met with his death while crossing the First Falls, March 1865, I think. So it looks like only 5 years apart.
Shivers, how's that?
Only 19.
Both the brothers.
Yeah, apparently the story has it that the family then moved back to England.
Had enough. We lost everyone.
Yeah.
Bugger.
But according to Leonie, who lives next door, she said most of the, whose family have been here for 3 generations, she said most of the people who drowned crossing the river were buried on the other side.
Ah, right.
Yeah, and not necessarily marked. There's no headstones over there or anything.
The first expedition by a European boat was to the First Falls by the steamboat King William, where it actually got stuck for 3 days, and luckily there was heavy rains at the time. A diary by Mr. Williams, a passenger, describes the journey. On arrival, Captain Perry directed the 21 brass guns forward to be loaded, which was fired off, and immediately afterwards a rocket ascended, and then Captain Perry, in an appropriate speech and in full uniform, named an adjacent hill on the right of the river King William's Mount. Amongst one of the discoveries was that of a species of lily known as congiwoi, or new chum turnip. A young man named Burnett, having picked up one of the roots, peeled it, and through it having so much the appearance of turnip, was induced to chew a piece, with almost fatal results, the effect being to cause swelling of the tongue and glands of the throat, accompanied by an excess burning. In this particular case, poor Bennett's tongue became perfectly blue and too large to be contained in his mouth. Fortunately, by the use of brandy and warm fermentations, his life was saved. One of the episodes connected with the King's William trip was the loss temporarily of 2 seamen. With guns, they went pigeon shooting. They did not return that night. Guns were fired and every search made for some days, but in vain. On the 11th day after 2 men had been lost, just as steam was given up, a number of blacks were seen upon the beach. Shortly after, it was discerned that the 2 white men were with them. The boat was once set off, and the joy of the party of men proved to be the missing seamen. The men's account was that they were wanted about for 8 days without food. The black behaved in the most friendly manner, giving them food and kangaroo and fish, and made a gunya for them to sleep in at night. It we gathered from this that the Clarence Aboriginal in his natural state had the germs of kindness, benevolence and charity within his breast. So far going pretty well. Current tide's still going with me, which is awesome. I've done about an hour and I'm averaging about 6.5 k's an hour, which is double what I was in the other kayak. Barely any wind. It's actually a little bit of wind behind me, probably caused by the tide going out, so that'll probably change. But yeah, just nice going. Just beautiful conditions, as you can see. Just seeing a red belly black. I think he's just noticed me, so he's just sussing me out. I don't think he realised I was really there before. It's gone all still. Yeah, you hadn't either. Wow. Geez, you can swim well. Shivers. He hadn't even noticed me. I didn't realise. I thought he'd seen me and he was cool, and then he just noticed me and just went into I'm out of here mode. It's very pretty. Oh, how amazing would it be to have a house just overlooking the river? That's awesome. I've just spotted the bridge, Rogan's Bridge, off in the distance there. Steve was saying the paddling gets pretty boring after the bridge, since it's less of this sort of lovely scrub, cliffy country, and then more into the farmland, cleared farmland. But Rogan's Bridge. How's it going, horsey? Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Looks like a public boat ramp unless it's private. Other than Copmanhurst, that's been the first spot, so that's like 16, 17 k's down the river. So you're in the middle of the river, and it's got this sign, and it says, towing of persons prohibited, water or barefoot skiing accepted, penalties apply. Oh, what's the difference? Like, surely if you can do barefoot skiing and everything, you can do ordinary skiing. I wonder, must be hoons. Rivalry of the skiing clubs. Well, this is the joining of Whiteman Creek to the Clarence. Yeah, going pretty well. It's lunchtime and I've done 22.5 k's, so I was originally going to camp somewhere just around here, thinking this is as far as I would get. But I'm just going to just take it easy. It's stinking hot. It must be about 35, 36 degrees. But just jump in the water every now and again and pretty good. Nice and wet, as you can see. Pretty cruisy going, nothing exciting. I'm trolling a fishing line to see if I can get anything, but it's been more hassle than anything. It's just been twisting up and catching weed, unfortunately, so it's probably not the best to be doing that. Here, it's got like rope swing, launch pad for the rope, even a launch ramp for the rope swing. Oh, here we go, Clarence River B&B. I guess these ropes are so you can tie a boat off. Oh yeah, it must be to tie your boat out and hold it off the dock with the arms. Clarence River B&B, that's pretty cool. Full boat ramp and everything. It's a pretty flash setup. Closer to Grafton. Look at that one. It's about 10 more k's to go to Grafton. And the river's getting pretty wide, and as you can see by those clouds, there's a little bit of a stormy looking thing brewing up too, so we might get a little bit of a shower later. So here we go. So I found a bit of tarp next to the river, and this storm's blowing up a little bit of breeze. You can hear the storm. So I'm just having a bit of a rest and sailing down. I seem to be getting along pretty nicely. I'm probably doing about 3 or 4 kilometres an hour. And so I just wish this was a bit of a clear vinyl so I could see where I'm going. It's making me nervous, this rocking though. Geez, I wouldn't want it to be too much rougher, I'd be challenged. I'm challenged now. The sky's looking amazing. Susan Island is named after the first European boat to enter Big River. It was called the Susan, and on board was a convict by the name of Richard Craig. He was an escaped convict that had lived with the Aboriginals and learnt the language. After being pardoned for rescuing some cows from the bush, he convinced a shipbuilder to sail his boat, the Susan, to fetch cedar. The Susan crossed the bar in 1836 and landed at the site now known as McLean, changing Big River forever. The welcoming committee to Susan Island. How's it going, bloke? What's happening? It's supposed to be a massive bat colony here, so I'm going to go and suss them out. And it's supposed to be a really nice bit of rainforest on this island. Apparently there was a much bigger fig tree on the island that was actually gigantic. Make my way on. Since my family name's Robinson, better stop in there and have a beer and try and dry out a bit. I'm getting a shot of the room with you in it. You were serving tea.
Did you say coffee?
No, tea.
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 Okay.
Yeah, I don't do coffee.
Have milk in a tea?
Yeah, I have a little splash of milk.
Hey, we've even got some cake we can share.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
There has been a story derived from ancient Aboriginal inhabitants that once upon a time the whole of the present site of Grafton, north and south, was submerged with no exception of the upper part of Wilson's Hill by a great flood. Some persons have personally looked upon the tradition as one of those myths common to the whole race of mankind. The recent flood, however, would go to show that what has been looked upon as a mythical tradition may possibly have been an historical occurrence.
Well, I've just slept down here next to the kayak on this jetty. And there's always, I guess, mullet and things jumping. Which is quite amazing. Scary to know that in 2001 the water got there, and they say that's 1 in 20 years it gets to there. 1 in 100 years it gets to there. So all these shops must be prepared to move their stuff pretty quickly. Crazy. So I'm just coming up to the Grafton bridge. Just about to pass under it at 5 o'clock in the morning. Railway underneath and roadway on top. They built an additional bridge on the other side. Yeah. But yeah, before they built this, they used to bring the trains across on a barge. So a barge would bring the trains across. Geez, you'd want to get that right. I mean, take them up the river and line them up and unload them, and people would continue on. People wouldn't go across on the carriages on the barge, but they would get off and then get a ferry across, and then, yeah. But quite a feat. Something that, you know, someone could live on and use and travel around with. It's just been lost. Wow, looks like all the galahs are heading somewhere. Morning flight, peek out.
The recent flood has proved unmistakably what I was told respecting the country now known as Elmara by a very old blackfellow. When I was a young man, he told me that the only dry ground in Elmara was the hill opposite Swan Creek House, a very little piece of the bank of the river between McFarlane's and McLean's.
I've just come in and it's definitely public. It's got 24-hour maximum berth. Not during flood times. Makes sense. Here we are in Elmara. The whole main street's getting a refurbishment, so Elmara Hotel, which has this awesome garden area right on the river, right next to the kayak pull-up spot just down here in the jetty, so it's ideal. What a beautiful little town, so many little quaint shops and friendly people, and yeah, beautiful little spot to stop. Love it. Yeah, I visited the art gallery, the local art guy, and all the shops had stuff that was made pretty much locally within kilometres of the area, and showcased them, so it's very unique to see that. I was impressed, as I am by this mango cheesecake and ice cream.
This pie is amazing. Truffle mushroom. Ooh wee, that's good.
Well, it's 12:30 and it's still perfect conditions, so I better make my way to Bushgrove. Well, I pulled up on this side, not realising on this side there's actually like this little step down platform that I could have easily boarded onto. Anyway, wow, where the sky meets the land. That is just amazing. Oh, there's like a giant eye in the sky. Look at the giant eye in the sky looking at you. Rescued the butterfly. Can he come good? I'm going to put you there, let you try out. We've got Brush Grove, so that's where I'm going to pull up and suss out the Brush Grove Hotel. Another sort of historic place with
obviously it's actually an island, and the river runs right under that bridge and up to the left to Lawrence. So I've got to decide which way I'm going to go tomorrow. It will depend on the wind. I'm actually wondering if boats this far up the river have to worry about their anti-foul with the fresh water, if it still gets growth on it or not. Come over here to this really cool low platform that they have for the on their pontoons. I haven't seen these before, and they're so good for older people that want to get off their boats or whatever. Yeah, they're brilliant. It's always a little bit concerning when on the power pole in the main street of the town it has the river height measurement listed, and you look around and there's the pub. Okay, so it's first light. It's 5:30, and I'm just going to leave this dock at Brushgrove. I just slept next to the kayak in my sleeping bag. It was pretty good. Shared the dirty with a few ducks, and the mullet was jumping like crazy again, which was interesting, very interesting. So heading off to Lawrence is the go. Next town. I've decided to go around the outside to Lawrence, only because the highway in this still air is noisy as, and it runs along the edge of the river on the right. I don't want to put up with the road traffic noise. I'm trying to get away from that, so I'm going to go this way. I wonder if it's designed to completely spin around. It almost looks like that. Just landed at the boat ramp at Lawrence. And yeah, no, it's a quaint little town. They're doing a bit of lawn mowing in the background. Just going to have a look around at the old hotel and the couple of the old buildings here, and probably go visit the museum. Apparently the museum's got a bit of a history on telecommunications. What I'm going to term the Clarence River Arc. It's a massive houseboat, ready to launch at the next flood.
Approached them and asked them what they were going to do with it, and the reply came back if the village had a use for it, they'd give it to us for the cost of the legals.
Oh wow!
So our historical society had a big fund drive, and we managed to, I think, we raised enough money to building. So it was, as I say, it was derelict. It's taken a lot of work and effort and money to develop it, but the bottom line is we own it.
Awesome, that's brilliant.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about councils and people's input, so it gives us a nice lever to operate and so forth. But anyway, there's out the back, here's a two-storey building out the back with quite a lot of things to see and do, and there's interesting things around the garden.
Yeah, I'll have a squiz.
Yeah.
Hello, yes, this is Joe's message bank service. There is nobody home. Please leave a message. Here's actually one of them set up, but it hasn't got a little information thing about it, which is unfortunate. But obviously they could swing the arm out and lower it out and bring it in and drop things onto the riverboats. A lot of it reminds me of my grandmother's place. Worth a look. Just spotted a python in the tree, so I'm going to sneak up on him. He's in that mode where they sort of hibernate. It's making some nice hissing sounds there. I think I'll just leave you alone. See ya. Have a good digestion. I just spotted this very friendly magpie. He must be a little local resident. He's got a bung foot. Looks like he must have broken it or something. He seems very friendly. An old winch and jetty with a big pole. This must have been an old loading jetty for either timber or beef. They used to take all the beef and everything up the river. So I'm just doing a quick zip across the river to have a look at the Broadwater Lake. It's actually a Broadwater Creek, but it's a big basin, a massive lake-like basin. The reason I'm going in there is a guy showed me some pictures of some bull sharks that were caught there, and they were huge. Like, think of great whites, and that's the size of these bull sharks. They had heads on them that were huge. They must have been 3.5 meters long. I'll see if I can find some pictures of them and put them up. And I thought I might just go in there and see if I can just have a look at the basin. It's sort of a big shallow basin, so Gary told me, I didn't know the law in New South Wales is if you must have a life jacket on in all small craft. So I'm just about to put the life jacket on just in case someone sees me. I'll be in the shit. So yeah. I don't know if that means all that other paddling I've been doing where I took off the life jacket. I was carrying a life jacket. See, in Queensland you only need to carry a life jacket. You don't have to have it on. Apparently in small craft in New South Wales you have to have a life jacket on. And most of my trip, where I thought it was safe, I haven't had a life jacket on, so I don't know if that means I need to superimpose a life jacket on my footage or not, but heed warning, wear a life jacket in New South Wales apparently, $250 fine. According to Gary, thanks to Gary. Cheers mate. Could have saved me $250, so just to get to land at McLean and have a bit of a look around and go from there. I'll be wearing it the whole time. Obviously. So here we are at McLean. Just about to leave. Nice morning, the rain's cleared. It was raining this morning. Split in the river where you've got the north arm, which I'm looking at there, and then you've got the south arm down here. So I'm heading down the south arm, the bigger area under the bridges, the big bridge. She's certainly clouded in. I think I'm going to get rain for quite a few hours, but at least it's warm, so I'm happy with that. Pretty crazy at the moment. It feels like it's 5 or 6 o'clock. It's just so dark and moody, but it's actually only like 1:30, 2 o'clock. It's quite amazing. I'm struggling with just how perfect the conditions are here at the moment. It's almost bewildering, kind of surreal. Well, I certainly couldn't ask for better conditions. It's overcast, not too hot, not too cold, nearly no wind, beautiful sky, flat water. The only thing I could do with is I'm trolling with a fishing line out the back with a lure on it, hoping to catch something like a flathead or something for dinner. That would be icing on the cake at the moment. Catch a fish, but it's just not quite what I was after. Ah, come off, Barb. Ah, I'm trying not to hurt you too much, buddy, but I'm sorry. Ah. Ow, got myself. Here we go, put your back. Well, the sun's just come out and I still can't believe just how good these conditions are. It's blowing my mind. Wow, there's a massive rock wall they've put all the way, a big breakwater all the way along here. It's quite amazing, it's huge. In an attempt to make Yamba a safe and deep water port, a number of rock walls have been built. One quarry was the Angari Rock Quarry, which was used to build the Clarence River's southern breakwalls. The quarry was operated from 1893 until the early 1900s. It used steam and a railway that ran from Angari to Yamba. This actually stopped when overnight the quarries filled with water from hitting a spring that turned them into the famous blue and green swimming pools. What has stopped this becoming a deep water port that self-flushes is a reef that actually has an incredible Aboriginal story that goes with it. There was once a mean, crouchy old woman called Dirigan who held power over the rest of the tribe because she alone knew the source of the sacred spring that supplied their water, which she had dammed up in a secret place. A young man, however, discovered the dam and broke its stone walls. The water flowed down the country towards the sea. Dirigan was infuriated and threw up mountains like Mount Oglaive to try and stop it, to no avail. Near the entrance to the sea, in a last desperate attempt, she threw herself across the spring, which had now grown into a big river. The river flowed over her and she turned to stone, creating the reef and the bar that now lie at the river mouth. At a hearing at Yamba, the federal court recognised the Yagal people's right to protect this reef. So the crouchy old lady, as well as slowing the river, is slowing shipping. I've completed the end of the Clarence River. What an effort. What an amazing river. So glad to have done it. So that's, you could say that's the source of the Nymboida to the mouth of the Clarence. Basically, from source to sea, as they say.